coming to theaters in 2030, Kang the Conqueror. Yeah, what's going on, guys? Since we're probably not going to see this movie till 2030, I'm exaggerating, but it's going to be a while before we see this. We just got some announcements. We got an announcement from Deadline, and hopefully this is true. We have no idea if the source is true, but apparently Jonathan Majors, I was at Jonathan Masters. Jonathan Majors was reportedly cast to play Kang the Conqueror in the Ant-Man sequel, Ant-Man 3. And so let's just read this article. We're going to read a couple articles, or maybe one or two articles, but we're going to talk about this, and we're going to talk about some possible theories as to what this can mean or what this could mean if this is true. For those of you guys who do not know who Jonathan Majors is, let's pull up a picture of him right here. Here we go. This is Jonathan Majors right here. Great actor. He's I know him from Lovecraft Country, so he does an amazing job on that show. My sister and I watch that show like every Sunday, and we're having a lot of fun with it, man. The show's really crazy, and I think his acting is one of the best things that we can see in the show. So definitely go check Lovecraft Country out. Watch it. You get to see his acting, see what he can do there, see what he's capable of, but he's really good at his job. Lovecraft Country star Jonathan Majors is reportedly heading to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and he may be playing one of the most iconic Marvel villains of all time. That's another thing I forgot to say in the beginning. Like Kang, this is a big thing. This is a big deal. Kang the Conqueror is a huge Marvel villain and arguably one of the Avengers' most popular villains. Talk a little bit what he's capable of, because this is a really big deal. Deadline reports Majors has signed on to play a major villain character in the third Ant-Man movie. According to Deadline source, that villain may be none other than Kang the Conqueror. Little else is known about the untitled sequel at this point, though director Peyton Reed is expected to return along with Paul Rudd as Scott Lang and Michael Douglas as Dr. Hank Pym. We did recently learn about Rick and Morty writer Jeff Loveness has started writing the script, and production is expected to begin in 2021, barring any coronavirus-induced delays. Basically, what they're trying to say is film is going to start 2023. Anyways, assuming Deadline source is correct, this article I'm reading is from IGN, as you can see. Assuming Deadline source is correct, this casting can give us a better idea of the sequel's plot and larger direction of the MCU Phase 4. Kang the Conqueror is widely regarded as one of Avengers' greatest foes, a master time traveler who goes by many names, including Immortus, Ramatut, and the Scarlet Centurion. Kang uses his advanced technology to make himself the ruler of the far future Marvel universe. So let's actually talk about this. I don't want to read the rest of this. I actually want to just talk about some of my own theories from what I know in the comic books. So let's go ahead and talk about this a little bit. Go back to the screen here. So having Kang possibly being this is a major deal, especially for if we're getting into a Young Avengers storyline, which happens a lot further down the timeline. But if we get into a Young Avengers storyline, that can mean so much, because in one of the storyline, Kang is Iron Lad actually is the younger version of Kang. And there's part of the story where Kang actually came back and tried to basically get Iron Lad to embrace himself as the villain or embrace himself for who he really and truly is. And he basically goes on this whole thing and becomes an enemy of the Young Avengers, and they go on from that. So this could be a thing where in Ant-Man 3, he pops up in the only way the MCU can do it. Have him show up towards the end of the movie, have him show up towards the end, like make a little cameo or something like that, or, you know, just kind of how they set up Thanos. Because if they're bringing in Kang, that's going to be a very huge big bad right there. That can literally set up the next phase. That can be like the next end game of this next phase of the MCU, like within the next 10 years. So if it's true that Mr. Majors is going to be playing Kang, this is a big deal. It's a big deal for him because this is a huge role, and the villain as well, just being able to be this presence that kind of shows up in different Marvel movies and kind of sets up for another phase of the MCU. So I'm super excited about that, especially because they can do it, and they may do it a little bit differently in the movies. They've done it, so they've done Civil War differently. They've done a little bit of hints towards the Secret War storyline within the recent MCU phases. So they've done little itty bits of different parts of the storylines to kind of make their own thing. But we can hope that maybe this can be a combination of some of the storylines that we know from the comic books, and maybe also to kind of spawn off and create new things with this. So I'm super excited. They mentioned about Kang's powers as a supervillain, time travel being the main thing. He has been to every single century and frequently does so. And every time he does that, he kind of leaves different pieces of himself within each timeline, which kind of creates different storylines and such and such like that, pairing as different characters. So that could mean so much for the Marvel Cinematic Universe if they actually adapt that into the films, is with him coming in and having different remnants of himself, different versions of himself. That could set up for so many different other villains for the MCU. This can set up for different possible timelines. Maybe the return of some of our favorites. We don't know. Maybe this can actually spawn a return of Iron Man because of a different timeline. Maybe it could be a different Iron Man. We have no idea what is going to happen. Kang could go back and change the entire universe for all we know with his time traveling ship. Also, being able to have that advanced technology. I know he married, I keep forgetting his character's name, but in the 40th century, he has technology and armor and things from way in the future, which makes him a formidable foe. He can go up against pretty much all of the Avengers with the technology that he has, because he himself doesn't actually have any powers. He doesn't really have any powers. At least the versions that I read from Kang, he doesn't have that much. He doesn't really have any powers. He's very smart, and he's a genius, and he has the access to advanced technology, which gives him an edge over the current Avengers. So I am very excited to see if they actually take some of that into play with this as well, because having a villain like this for the next phase of the MCU will really change a lot of things with everything with the MCU, especially storylines, side storylines, and how they integrate and connect everything. I really hope this is true. I hope this is just not us kind of just wishing for something we don't get. Even if we don't get it, it's whatever, but I really hope that that's what it is. And if we can get to see like maybe a young Iron Lad or something like that, that would also be very cool to see. So I'm looking forward to whatever this is to come, man. You guys let me know your theories and thoughts. If you guys want to see another video on Kang, let me know. I could do like a top 10 video. I can do like a read along, something. Let me know your thoughts. And about this news, man, hopefully the source is correct, and hopefully the news is correct, and we'll see this movie in 2030. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, man. Make sure to subscribe if you're new. I'll see you in the next one, man. Clockmaster out.